Okay, we're going to take a look at the last major feature of the image viewer here and show you how segmentation tools work. Now there's a little bit of a quirk in the permissions right now in the version 2 of this plugin. So you need to be a project owner in order to save segmentations. We're going to go ahead and log in as a project owner now. And we're back at our session here with our ROI collection on it. Once we've got our session loaded, we can import our contour and we can use that as a guideline for doing our pixel painting. When you're doing segmentation, a lot of times what you're doing is creating a mask. So you want to basically paint the pixels that describe an area of interest. It's another way of generating an ROI, basically. So we're going to call this one tumor mask. And we're going to go and use the manual brush here. You can see our brush head is pretty large to start. We can actually use the plus and minus keys on the keyboard to make that brush head larger or smaller. Oh, and since we're painting with pixels here, it makes sense to turn off pixel smoothing so we can get a clearer idea of what we're doing. So we've got a small brush head now. We're kind of digging into some of these smaller areas. And unfortunately, if we make a mistake, there's not a very good eraser tool. This eraser doesn't seem to work on segmentations. So instead, we need to clear our layer and start over. And that clear command only affects the current frame that you're working on, and it only affects the current tool that you're working with. So obviously, my ROI collection didn't go away. And just like contours, we can save our progress as we go. So you can see we also have a Smart CT brush and these Smart CT gate selection options that are available in our segmentation menu. These numbers that are next to these settings refer to Hounsfield units, which are a measure of pixel intensity that are geared around CT, the CT scan modality. You can see there's different presets for us. We can also set our own custom numbers as well. What this is meant to do is provide a filter for your segmentation brush. It doesn't work easily on MRs because the pixel intensity is different by nature. You can use it, it just takes a little bit of extra work with your custom settings. But let's switch over to a CT and I can show you the way that these filters are meant to work. So we're looking at a whole body scan here with many frames here, 188 frames. And you can see right away that the CT uses a much brighter intensity for rendering bone versus muscle or versus fat or other tissue. And as we scroll through here, let's get to, this is a good chunk of the body here. As we zoom in, you can see, oh, there we go, sure. You can see we've got rib bones here, we've got some spine, we've got sternum and whatnot. This is part of the shoulder blade, it looks like. And in if we use our segment tool here, you can see we've got different presets using these numbers for adipose tissue, which is fat, muscle, or bone. And these numbers represent intensity ratings for the pixel intensity, for the brightness of the pixels. And these are measured in what's called Hounsfield units. And this Wikipedia page on Hounsfield scale has some useful settings here if you were interested in doing some finer tuned masking on or selecting on different tissue types or material types in a CT scan. But for now, let's just do something that's very simple, and let's just do an adipose just to give you an idea of how this works. And you can set your brush size to be fairly large here. And using this Smart CT gate selection, I'm brushing over this whole area, but the only parts that are being painted are the pixels that match that gate definition. So this is a really cool way to kind of very quickly paint a whole series of layers in a CT scan. You know, I'm not going to sit here and segment all 188 layers for this demo, but you know, it's worth pointing out that this is very quick, it's very fun, it's very cool. So, and let's go ahead and save this, what we've got, just to show we can save this back to our CT scan. And there's our, actually there's our second collection. This first one is one I created in testing. So there you go.